and welcome to Imagine This Stories for Lent. When I was young, I had to learn my math facts. You know, like 1 plus 1 is 2, and 10 times 10 is 100. I did this with flashcards. Every night, I would flip through a bunch of cards with math problems on them until I learned all of them. I'm going to teach you some math right now. Did you know that 2 plus 5 is 20,000? Don't believe me?
No.
Sit back, relax, kick off your shoes, and for the next few minutes, imagine this. One day, Jesus and his friends were hanging out in a field talking. If you remember, recently Jesus had sent his friends out in pairs to go to different towns and do things that he did, like teach, heal the sick, cast out demons. Well, now they're all back, and they're sitting down and talking about their adventures. Before long, other people noticed them and started to meander over and see what they were up to. Then more people came. And then more people. You know how it goes. Before long, the field got so crowded that Jesus suggested they all get into a boat and sail to a place that was a little more private so that they could talk and rest. The people who were in the fields saw them sailing away and started to run along the shore, trying to follow them. When Jesus and the disciples reached where they were going, there was already a large crowd waiting for them. You would think Jesus might be like,
"Seriously? Can I get a little alone time?"
But the Bible tells us, when he saw them, he had compassion on them. That means he cared about them. He wanted to make their lives better and to help them. So he started to teach. The day was soon over and it was dinner time. Jesus' disciples came over to him and said, this is a pretty remote place. You need to send the people away so they can travel to a nearby town and get some food. But Jesus said to them,
"You give them something to eat."
The disciples were like, "You're kidding, right? I mean, it would take more money than we could make in 6 months to buy food for this many people."
"How many loaves do you have? Go and see."
So the disciples walked around and came back to Jesus and said, "Hey, we found 5 loaves of bread. Oh, and 2 fish." Jesus told them to have all the people sit down in groups on the grass. So they sat down in groups. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, Jesus looked up to heaven and he gave thanks and he broke the loaves into pieces. He then gave them to the disciples and said, "Give this out to all the people." He also divided the 2 fish among them as well. So the disciples took their pieces of bread and fish and tore some off and handed it out. Then they tore some off and handed it out. Then they tore some off and handed it out. Again and again and again. And as much as they tore, they still had more bread and fish in their hands. The Bible tells us when everyone ate and was full, the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftovers. You may be thinking, yeah, okay, that's cool. But how many people did they really feed? The Bible says there were 5,000 men. That doesn't even count the women and children. That's a lot of people. Maybe as many as 20,000 people. So now you get my math. 5 loaves of bread plus 2 fish equals 20,000 people fed. There's a verse in the Bible that's one of my favorites, and it's in the book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 20. It says that God is able to do abundantly above anything we could ask or even think of. I like to remember this when I feel like nothing is going my way. I can call out to one who can do more than I could ever ask or even think to ask. I can talk to the God who can take 5 loaves and 2 fish and feed thousands. And I can talk to him anytime I want. And you can too. You can talk to this powerful, creative, able to do more than I can even ask or think of God. And he will listen. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. And I hope you continue to listen to Imagine This Stories for Lent. Bye.